Okay. Hey, good morning, afternoon, evening. It kind of depends on what time zone you're calling in from. We're gonna do like I was saying here before I hit record, we're gonna do a slow start. So welcome everybody. We really excited to kick off our virtual learning circle this month with Water First, and I'll let Adriana introduce themselves here in a few minutes. Um, this is if you this is your first time at one of the virtual learning circles. My name is Shay Henderson. I work with YOLO on the coordination side of things, and our goal with the virtual learning circles is really to create a space like where there or create a space for people to find opportunities that might support the work they're doing with youth on the land in their respective communities or organizations. And so, really excited that yeah, we're going to learn lots from Water First this time, and this conversation started way back in the fall. So we're gonna do a few round, like a quick little round of introduction because we're a small enough group to be able to facilitate that. If you're comfortable introducing yourself unmuted, go for it. If you just want to type it in the chat, also totally fine. Um, Before we do that, I do like to just kind of set some community norms, and you can interpret these in the way that suits you. But ideally, we would like to make sure we're speaking from our own experience. We have lots of different folks coming in from lots of different regions, and so just making sure that when we do speak, that we're speaking from that place, listening with curiosity and respect. We've had not every idea you're going to agree with or align with, but allowing the space to hear what people have to say is always a great space to be on. We're in a shared space, and so respecting when other people are speaking, which I mean, I feel like my teacher brain is kicking on for that one, but I feel like that's a one that a no-brainer, and people know that one very well. Building on one another's ideas is always a great norm that we like to keep in place here, and really seeing how the discussion builds from the ideas that Adriana and other presenters share. And then, of course, participate in the way that feels right for you. So if you don't feel like heavily speaking, the chat is a great space. If you just want to sit back and listen, just sit back and listen. It's your space. So on that note, we do like to do introductions. I will start, so I'll kick it off and not put the pressure on anyone. So just saying who you are, where you're coming from, and a recent moment of joy you had out in the land, because that's all what our work is connected to a lot of the time. So, like I said, my name's Shay Henderson. I work with the YOLO community on the coordination side of things and helping bring people together. I live in Churchill, Manitoba, but I'm currently calling in from Cranberry Portage, Manitoba, where I've just spent 2 days on the land with K to 8 students. And I guess that would be my recent moment of joy, is just the walking through the bush this morning, and I didn't even have to point it out, and a kid pointed out some Labrador tea, and like my mom talked to me about that medicine, and it's like it brings a lot of joy to my life. So I'll pass it, and we'll every time after you introduce yourself, just pass it to the next person. So I will pass it to Julie.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. It's great to meet you. I'm very thankful to be joining from Dish with One Spoon, Wampum Belt, and Between the Lakes Treaty 3 land in traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit in Guelph, Ontario, so about an hour outside of Toronto. I'm the program manager with Take Me Outside. We're a national nonprofit, and we support educators in taking their learners outside. Wide a large portion of our community are K to 12 educators working it within the school system, taking their learners outside during the day. But we also support land-based educators and early years educators too. So excited to learn today from all of you. And a recent moment of joy out on the land for me is I'm a huge bird nerd. It's spring migration season. The warblers are coming back in my neck of the woods, and seeing warblers every year is always big joy for me. I absolutely love them, all birds. And I will pass it along to Willie if you want
Okay,
to.
thank you. I'm Basho Njijikasa Willie. Hi, everyone. I'm Willie. I am uh, doing some work with YOLO, mostly on the social media side, but also work for the Moose Hide campaign, Indigenous organization to end gender-based violence, and also a children's book author with a big focus in environmentalism. So it all kind of fits. I'm joining from Prince Edward Island on unceded Mi'kmaq territory. My moment of joy is just that it's finally warm. It's sunny. I brought my deck furniture outside yesterday, and so I was working from my deck for a little bit yesterday, which was really nice. And my dog was just like lazying on the deck, so happy in her senior retirement years. And so that was just my moment of joy. And I will pass it to the next on my screen is Danielle.
Danielle, did you want to? Danielle might just be sitting back and listening, and that's totally okay. And I'll also point to thanks, Allison, for sharing your introduction. It sounds like an amazing recent moment on the land that you've had. That's a really cool experience. Um, and I guess that actually, I don't like there might be others that join us in a few minutes, but we'll actually pass it to you next, Adrienne, and then you can actually just take the lead on the share our screen sharing, and I'll stop mine.
Annie Bojo, Adriana Indishnikas, Chinising Indojaba. My name's Adriana Volinsky. I'm from Beausoleil First Nation and I live in Victoria Harbor, which is on Williams Treaty territory. So I work with Water First and I actually wear two hats in the organization. I work in the school water program department as a coordination manager, and I also work in the community engagement department, which looks at more internal and external relations and development. So, before I jump into my slides, my joy on the land was yesterday out for a walk. I just saw some um, dandelions sprouting, and I've been learning a little bit more about dandelions and how you can eat various different parts of them. So I was really happy to see some of them sprouting up and budding. So that's my joy on the land. I will share some slides. Let me see, we just did this. There it is. Okay. So some of you may have heard of Water First. If you haven't, I'll do my best to give you a snapshot of what we do. Am I sharing the screen? Okay, perfect. So Water First Education and Training is an organization that works with Indigenous communities across Canada. So our main focus is water challenges, and that can span from drinking water challenges to environmental water challenges. So I'll talk a little bit about the three program areas that we have, focusing on mainly the school programs as we dig in. We've got a lot of educators on the call here. So who we are, our mandate again is just working with Indigenous communities on education and training. That is our focus. We aim to build trust, meaning, and lasting results. Those are kind of our three strands of success that our programs aim for. So we have, Shay was asking me a little bit about where I've gotten to travel. Water First itself, we have started using the phrase we work from coast to coast to coast. Our ED has started conversations with some contacts in Nunavut, and we're very excited to be out there. We've worked out in Delaunay in the Northwest Territories. We've worked over in Shahaji, Natwashish, and Labrador, so hitting those kind of northern areas. BC, Alberta, um, sorry, Saskatchewan, we haven't been out there yet, but we would love to if you want to invite us. We worked in Manitoba. Ontario is where our office is. So a lot of our work started in Ontario and Quebec, and we have not been out to PEI yet, Willie. So if you want to invite us, I'm sure we can arrange that. So yeah, not quite the eastern provinces we haven't hit yet. So our approach to the communities that we work with is really building kind of reciprocal learning relationships. So we're guided by traditional knowledge and the community kind of knowledge base, and then we bring Western science knowledge to that. And so we really try to have a two-eyed seeing approach and incorporate both where we can. So Definitely a focus on outdoor experiential workshops. We know that the best learning happens outside when you're interacting with the land. Having community consultation guide what the community needs and who in the community can help us, and then being flexible and making sure, we're not rigid to the schedule we might propose because life happens. And so we try and recognize that in all of our program areas. So these are the three main programs that we have, and you can see it, we kind of put them together in a circle. They really do feed off of each other. And from the school perspective, we try and lean into those adult education programs that the organization does offer so that we can incorporate mentorship within the community when Water First is not present. So School Water tries to support the environmental water department and the drinking water department. I'll touch on those other departments a little bit, but they're more adult education facing. So this is our flagship program area. This is the drinking water internship. So if you have heard of Water First, you may have heard of us because of our drinking water internship, where we work with tribal councils right now. We're branching off to see what structures look like outside of a tribal council structure, because that doesn't move across the entire country. So we're learning that as we grow. So within that tribal council setting, we have all of the umbrella communities, and we have an intern from each community, sometimes two interns. I think one time we had three. And the goal is really to build capacity within the community. So after they go through our internship, then they are certified water treatment plant operators that can work in their community or beyond their community. So we're just helping them get that certification. So that's kind of the adult focus. I might expand a little bit more on this point, but I just want to mention here, all of those interns, we do invite into the classroom with our school water programs. So we are intentionally working with the communities that our drinking water program is working with to make those connections with the youth and real life professionals from their community doing the work. So that could look like tours of their workspace or them coming into the classroom to talk to us. The other adult learning program that we offer is environmental water programs. And this past year, we launched our first internship for Enviro Water. So it follows a similar structure as the drinking water internship where we've had that success. And it provides different certificates to these individuals working through. So they get a data analysis certificate, they go through cabin training with us, and so they end up with three main certifications. And we also have our community-based programming. So the community-based programming is more on an individual basis, where communities will reach out to us with a water challenge or a problem that they are hoping to solve but don't have the knowledge or skills yet. So we bring some content to help them learn. So fish population study is one example. Spawning, shoal, rebuild. These are things within the community that they in the Lands and Resources Department may have acknowledged as a concern in the community, and they invite us in to kind of train their team. So those are our adult-facing programs. And in the school program, we do, again, intentionally work with those communities that the other programs are working with. And we can invite those interns and say, hey, here's someone who lives in your community who's doing the work. Let's go check out what they are doing. And so we do try and lean on community members in that way, because we acknowledge, especially working in the country as a whole, that we may not live in your territory. We may not live in your community, and we may not be the specialist. The people who live on the land are the specialists. And so within our structure, we invite those people in and we say, hey, we acknowledge that you know this better than us. Come and make the connections to this lesson that we brought with your lived knowledge. So that's kind of a little bit about our structure. So I have a short video to kind of talk about my work in the school water program and kind of why I'm passionate about the work. So it's just a short 3 minutes. I'm sorry, I am interviewed in this video, so it is a little bit more of my voice, but this was an intention to give you a break from my voice for a moment.
The water crisis is a long-term, huge issue that we face in Canada. So if there's a water crisis in a community, you need a water treatment operator to know how to work the water treatment plants. The youth that are living in that community coming up through time are the ones that are going to replace that person that's being retired. So by working with the youth students in these communities, we're just trying to encourage them to take an interest in water science so that they can be the next water treatment operator to prevent drinking water advisories in their community. The main goal for ISWP is to encourage youth to take an interest in water science, but we also set out to bring together Western science and traditional ecological knowledge. So validating those knowledge holders and practices that they have in their community and seeing how it pairs really well with Western science.
It's absolutely critical that we do that. Full engagement in land-based teachings, really, really important. In traditional teachings, we lay a foundation for, and it's just great. They're really benefit to the students.
I learned a lot of new things and I really enjoyed it. It was interesting. We did a lot of like fun experiments at the lake.
There are legitimate jobs for the students coming out of our programs to step into, whether it be a summer position or an internship of sorts in a community called Brunswick House First Nation. The youth that we worked with in the schools there, 2 of them got hired for summer positions with their environment department at the band office. And one student that was in our programs in Escapi, which is in northern Quebec, also started working with the band. Great thing about my work is that every school that I go to invites us back. They're happy that we're there. They love the content that we're sharing with the students, and they're like, see you next year. So it's really validating, I guess.
I really do enjoy Water First. You guys come every year. We've been building on the program. The students are really getting to know you guys, and they really do like that connection they're building with you. They really do enjoy learning about the water, and they really do enjoy like going out on the land, testing the water.
The water to connect.
So that's just a snapshot of kind of what we do. We have programs from kindergarten to grade 12. So we try to work with every single grade when we're in a school or in a community to make those connections stronger. And as I mentioned in that video, one of our main goals is inspiring youth. Our internal mandate, our elevator pitch, if you will, is if we inspire one person to pursue a career in water science, then we've done our job. And so, regardless of if we work with 1,000 students, if only one person actually takes an interest, it's a win for us. So we want to, yeah, spark a passion for water stewardship. So that's the kind of guiding force for our work. Um, and our team is made up of certified educators as well. So that helps us a lot in our facilitation. I think we have one team member now that is not a certified teacher, and she's just a fantastic facilitator. We definitely recognize the ability of individuals who don't have that certification behind their name, that they still have that skill. So that's been really exciting growth of our department. Just a quick overview. Already mentioned this, K to 12. So whatever grade you're in, we can come and work with your school and your class. Hands-on, place-based water learning for our students is kind of our goal. Not every one of our lessons is outside, but we have three main program offerings or courses, and at least two out of the six or eight, depending on the course, are intentionally outside, wearing the waders, using the tools, interacting. So some of the classroom stuff is introducing those tools in a different setting, and we have some fun, tangible items that we use. So our overall goal is to strengthen the connections to the land, the water, the community, and that's again bringing those specialists in and hearing from them, and then focusing on those career pathways. Again, as I mentioned, we are flexible. So what does it look like if we were to come to your school? We have space for play. So we do have some materials that look like toys. Kids are just excited to get their hands on those materials. And so we do give a bit of time for them to explore those items on their own before we jump into the lesson. And this is what you need to learn. So we also love to learn from the students. So each course offering does have a lesson where we sit down together and we talk about our watermark or our relationship with water. So it slows it down a little bit and we reflect on the week and we say like, what activities or what things that did we do that resonated with you, that reminded you of a time where you were on the land or in the water, and share that with us. And then that helps us grow as well. Learn from the students as well. Language is different across all of the communities that we work in. So we like to words from students based in their language, and sometimes depending on the group and how strong their language is, we use those as kind of our group names for the week, and then our team gets to learn some different keywords in their language, which is really fun. Adjusting plans in real time. If we have a guest speaker, if we have an elder or a knowledge carrier that's agreed to come and doesn't show up, that's great. Life happens. They prioritize their time. So we are just able to kind of fill in with a different lesson and move the schedule around until that person is available, or if they're not available anymore, then hopefully we can invite them next time we're back in the school. And then a main focus of our lessons is eliminating the reliance of being inside. So slideshows, we do have slideshows that our instructors can lean on for reference, but we really emphasize like this item doesn't have to be indoors. We can even take this tangible learning resource outside. And just being in that outdoor space gets us a step closer to interacting and relating to the land that we're talking about. This is an example. We've got containers outside. We could do that lesson inside. It's a lot of sand. It could be messy. So it just allows the students to play a bit more and learn more naturally because they're not worrying about, oh no, I spilled water or sand on the floor. So the programs that we offer are two different levels here. So our main program that we deliver is multi-day in-school workshops. So if we can, we're in your school for 5 days. If we can't be there for 5 days, then we strive for 4 days. So a full week in the school. And we have those three different units that I had mentioned. So our first one is called What's in Your Water. our second one is Full Circle, and our third one is Healthy Habitats. And I'll expand a little bit more about those, but they're different themes are kind of what's in your water is an introduction to water science in general. Full Circle is looking at that drinking water science, part of like the drinking water internship. And then our Healthy Habitats is looking more at like environmental water and the fish and that kind of thing. We also do offer a summer credit program. We at Water First are not accredited yet to give high school credits. We are looking into that. We're pursuing that. But right now it's a collaboration with the school board and a community, and then Water First. We have the curriculum structured for a grade 9 geography credit. And so we have a ball in the summer working with students that they can gain their grade 9 geography credit. So jumping in a little bit deeper, this is one of those lessons that I say kids just think it's a toy and they just want to play with it. So this is our watershed model. Looks really cool. All of the pieces are magnetic and you can move them around. And so they get to build their own watershed. And so we introduced that as the main theme for the week. And what's in your water. We talk about how what we do to the land impacts our water and our water quality. So we start there, we learn about groundwater and how what's on the land, again, can impact even what goes beneath in that groundwater area. We look at water quality analysis. And so I think Shay has connected this particular learning circle with a Water Rangers kit. And we buy our resources from Water Rangers. So the entire unit, What's in Your Water, is slowly introducing different water quality parameters through that Water Rangers kit. So what is pH? A whole lesson that teaches us what is pH, how do we use that tool? What is conductivity? And then we learn with that tool. And then Watershed Mysteries is one of my favorite lessons. It's a life of its own. We basically find samples around the community of water from different areas. It could be the lake, it could be the wetland, it could be the tap, and then we tell the students with all of their water quality parameters that they've learned to label the water samples. Where did they come from? And how do they know? Oh, you know this came from the lake because it has a higher total dissolved solids. Why would the lake have higher total dissolved solids than the tap water? And so we get this data analysis discussion with the students based on what we've learned through the week. So that's just a really fun unit. I love it. It's just introducing stuff to the students. Full Circle is a bit more of an engineering focus. So we shift our lens a little bit in the STEM line and we look at engineering. And so the students get to build filters. So we give them, for functioning filters, we give them a mucky, dirty water sample. And then we have it's such a fun lesson. We have a store and they get to buy whatever things we think could potentially filter the water. And they get to build that filter themselves. We get to go out to the water treatment plant and meet those operators who is actually working in their community to send that water to the tap. Are you under a drinking water advisory right now? Why? Let's go and talk to them and learn about why that's happening. What step of the process is needing to be fixed or relooked at? Our community connections lesson is looking at the distribution. It's looking at a map, looking at the community. How many buildings are in that community? How far is that water traveling down the pipes? And then can you build that blueprint yourself? Can you put those pipes together? And we send the water through the pipes and we see how much it's leaking and how that applies to their community itself. And then wrapping up, Full Circle. With nothing to waste. So when you flush, when that water goes down the tap, where does it go? What happens to it next? Right? Ultimately, after it's gone through that treatment process, it's sent back out into the land. Right? Where the water treatment plant pulls that water back in to start the process to send it to your taps again, for it to be sent back out to the land, for it to be pulled back. And so we look at how it is all connected. And then we typically, if we are visiting a school for a second year, they saw that What's in Your Water lesson last year, and they know that the watershed and everything we do on the water will affect even our drinking water process, that filtration process. And so we're building those connections together. The final unit offering that we have is Healthy Habitats, and that one's connected to our environmental water internship in the sense that they're learning more about kind of the fish populations and fish data, and we get to look a little bit about fish populations too in this unit. It's so fun. So we look at what a spawning shoal is, what that looks like. If we're able to visit a lake with a spawning shoal, we can take the waders and kind of poke around respectfully and gently. And we get to build a spawning shoal. So we have a little model with some small stones so that they can understand how those fish are protecting and laying their eggs and why they need that space. Building biodiversity looks at keystone species. So we've been in some communities where they have a beaver dam, and we take a field trip and we're out on the land and we actually get to see that beaver dam, and it applies to this lesson where we learn how the beaver creates this whole ecosystem of the wetland, and how without that beaver we wouldn't have a lot of these creatures living in this area or that entire landscape. And wading into wetlands is that exploration of a wetland, seeing if you can catch the different bugs, the macro invertebrates, and things of that nature. And then, fish habitats is a fun lesson where we use GPS units, and we have different spots across a span of area, and that GPS spot has some information or an activity that you have to do that connects to the learnings from the week. So I'm giving you a very high overview, running through a lot of lessons. If you have any questions, I'm really excited to kind of expand on all these ideas with you. Lastly, the summer credit program, we talked a little bit about that, but in the first iteration of this program, we had 18 community members invited to speak to the students and share their knowledge across the span of 4 weeks. So we really do emphasize the knowledge is in the community. And just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean that I have all of the answers or the knowledge, because other people have other knowledge that we can lean on. We can learn from each other. And so that's a big focus of our programming, is that reciprocal learning. That does bring me to the end of my slides. I feel like I talked pretty fast. I'm so sorry. I was just afraid I would run out of time and you wouldn't have a chance for questions. So if you want to know more and you don't want to chat right now, my email is here on the screen, or you can just follow us on social media or check out our website if you want to talk to somebody else. That's maybe not me. Maybe there's someone else that you wanna see who the big boss is. Send our executive director an email. Be like, you know what, Adriana did such a great presentation. I just wanted to touch base with you and let you know that she's great. No, I will just open up the floor. Shay, I don't know if you want to say
Yeah, I
something.
think no, that was fantastic, and thank you for all that information. It's clear everyone, like you and your team, are passionate about the work and really making some great strides and impact on the mission. And so yeah, super appreciative of everything you just shared. And you're right, it's a lot. So I also appreciate squeezing it into 30 minutes. I know it probably doesn't do it justice. I have lots of questions, but I will definitely open the floor. And I think we're a small enough group today that I can just kind of leave it open if anyone would like to drop it in the chat and I can read it out loud, or you can unmute yourself and ask Adriana directly.
My pleasure, Julie. I love talking about my work. I could talk for another hour if you let me get into the nitty-gritty of all the things that happen. There is one additional piece of information that I didn't share just for the sake of time, and that is within our regular school programming, we do tend to focus on one core group. So that is usually grade 6, 7, or 8, usually that intermediate range. And we see that class every day of the week that we're there. And so the lessons do scaffold very intentionally. And the other classes we do kind of one-off, like one or two, our funnest lessons we pull in for those grades. And so we have kind of that core group and they get the full course, as it were, and really see that learning build. So that's a part of our strategy is, if we are inviting a guest speaker in, they don't have time to talk to every single classroom, kindergarten up to grade 12. So we have kind of one central focused group and they get the bulk of the learning.
Yeah, good morning. Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Wilbert Menico. I'm calling from Tulita, Northwest Territories. I usually speak in my language, and I think it's very important for us to do that because water means a lot to us. And, our elders, I can speak my English and I interpret it in English. Or Titi tu, taki dira, I betara tene chaka tita noa, ayuna, not second. Just talking about the water, what the elders talk about long time ago. And I'm glad that you're talking about those things. That's very important. When you talk about water, it's life. And how you could tell, our elders always say that when you look at a beaver, when you see a beaver, you see a lot of beaver dam, and that's when our water is gonna slowly go away. It is happening. So they told us to take care of the water. And I know that when you look, and because I'm in the community of about 500, we don't have pipes in the ground for water. So everything is by truck and put into our tanks. So when you're talking about the pipe, I was really thinking how the industry, how they do water through the pipe, and later on it get rusty, right? And it happens. So I thinking about that just a while ago, what the elder were talking about, and what you're talking about, that's happening now. So I think it's very important that we keep talking about the water because the water is talking to us, it's telling us something, and even the land is telling us, hey, we have to get back and protect it. And those are the things that I share when I do my workshop with youth. I talk about the water and the land, what it means, what the elder told us before. And the prophet told us a long time ago, take care of the water. Take care, it's natural for us, but as us, we're putting more stuff into it. So we have to get back how to take care of the water. So I'm working with elder. Like I said, I chased a lot of elder story, and I know as much I could, but I'm still learning. So I like when you guys talk about the water. That's very important for us, for generation. For us, is we could talk about it now, but we had to educate those young ones. The young ones are very important because we wouldn't be here on earth as the young one. The young ones, you got to pass that message to the young ones about the water, the land, what Mother Earth. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm passing the message on to the young ones so they could teach their kids, and their kids could teach their kids, a generation. So, but anyway, you're talking about the pipe, and I was thinking about that. We have pipes up here to Enbridge. I think we all have it down all over. And later on, it will happen, bust or something will happen to it. So, and we're drinking that. We're drinking that. That's what the elders said. That's what's happened to us. We're drinking all that material, all that stuff in that pipe. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I just wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that. Masi Cho, it means a lot. And because like I said, I'm glad that I got to work with youth a lot and share a story with them about the land, the water, because the water and the land is talking to us. is telling us, come back, come back, and take care of us. And so that's what I'm doing like, quite a bit with the youth. I'm telling the youth, you're the next generation. So you guys take care of that because it's for the future of your kids too. And like I said, I speak in my language quite a bit, so I'm proud of it. And it makes sense in my language because when you put English, that's why I said when I said on YOL, I said our English. It's just on and on and on. But when we talk in our language, it's we know right away what it means. So that's a message I pass on to the youth and saying, hey, we have to speak our language, even knowing that's in Azula. That's how we have to say what's good, what's not good. In our language, it makes sense. But in English, it's just what's good. We find out that what's not good, because in our language, in Zuni, right away we know it. So I just wanted to share that and Masi Cho for um, let me speak here on behalf of the water a little bit. I'm glad that I got on this with you guys. I'm very happy, and I thank my friend there to invite me on here. Masicho. I'm from, like I said, I'm from Wilbur, Mexico. I'm from Toledo, Northwest Territories, for a small community. I love my community. Masicho.
Miigwech, Wilbert, thank you. And that's a classic example of inviting community members because Wilbert knows kind of what is happening in his community. I wouldn't know that there's no pipes there. We do have an alternative lesson for those northern communities that don't have underground pipe distribution processes, but now we know. Right. And we would invite those people that live in the community to tell us more. And as an employee at Water First, we can express what Wilbur just said, that we need to listen to the water and listen to the land. But it's just so much more meaningful when you hear from somebody who lives in your community, also repeating kind of what these random people are that don't live in your community, also saying that from somewhere else in the country and having that same message. It kind of impacts the students in a different way, just seeing that connection to their community.
I was really curious. Oh, well, first of all, thank you, Wilbur. It's good to see your face again. We saw each other in Yellowknife, and yeah, I'm glad. Virtual connections is always great as well. Um, I was really curious about like I work with a lot of schools, and sometimes it's but not like the ideas are great, but like the process of making those connections. So like how like can you walk me through that process of like, okay, I love the idea of this high school summer course where kids get to go immerse on the land for 4 weeks and work with water and understand their role in that. What does that process look like? Is it just a cold call email to Adriana and be like, hey, we want to do this, and where do we go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. That is one way that you could do it. We do have a registration form on our website, so you can also go through that. All of the registrations that come through the website also come directly to me. So if you have my email, you can directly email me and I'll kind of look at the calendar and see, does my team have capacity to travel? Um, can we like and start kind of arranging that? And it really just looks like, hey, we have this week, and this week available. Which one of those weeks is best for you? Or what season, like if it's depending on how busy the schedule is, what season are you looking for? Like, are you looking for fall, winter, spring? Each unit can be delivered in each season, but the approach we have on certain lessons in the winter might be different than the approach in the fall or in the spring. So we make adjustments based on the season. For the summer program, Shay, that's a bigger one because it's a 3 or 4 week commitment. We can't deliver as many summer credit programs as we can 1 week workshops throughout the school year. So usually we have our summer partners established by January or early February. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely reach out like September, October and say, hey, we want to work with you for a summer program. Can we get that ball rolling? because we would need that school board connection as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, until we become accredited, and we're on that path. So hopefully that does come to fruition. But in a regular school program, we're not providing a credit. We're just coming in to do regular school programming. We do have some assessment and evaluation tools that work well with all of our programs. So if you are a teacher in a community and you want to invite us in, but you don't want to lose that week of your curriculum, like what am I going to grade my students on? You can reach out to us and we can make sure that we're providing a couple of key methods for you to evaluate the students' learning. And observation is a big one as well, like how engaged are the students and that kind of thing. So it really is, yeah, we would say start with that. When can we come? Then I would kind of ask a couple things about the community. For example, our teams are traveling in. Where do you recommend that we stay? Where is the nearest body of water to do a field trip? Can we walk? Do we have the bus? Okay, let's organize the bus. And so the logistical ball kind of gets rolling. We currently are working on a pay what you can basis because Water First is a non-for-profit organization. So if you have funding for this type of programming, we will happily take a donation and that will help us reach more communities. And if you don't have the budget, then we can find funders to support and we can still bring the program to you. So that's kind of the logistical portion. Some schools will have teacherages that they will provide in-kind accommodation for us. And so it becomes a conversation about, yeah, where do we stay? How do we get to the school? That kind of thing. What grades specifically are you looking for us to reach? We have some sample schedules that we share typically at the beginning of the week. And if that schedule doesn't vibe with your schedule, you can send us your school schedule and we'll reformat and we'll make it work with your recess times and your lunch times. Some of the more complicated schedules we've done is, schools that have kindergarten to grade 12, but the high school lunch is different and their lunch periods are longer. And so I love scheduling. I'm a nerd. I like that's my favorite thing to do is to organize a really complicated schedule. So please bring that challenge on. Sounds like a fun puzzle to me. And then we would, once we have a base schedule, it's kind of sorted out, you would then email that schedule to all the teachers that you think should be involved. Let them know, hey, we're coming. This is the time that works best for us to be with your class. And then from there, especially if we haven't been in your community, a conversation of, do you know anyone? Any knowledge carriers or elders or people that work really closely with the school to come and share the connection to your local lands. And if you don't, then we call the Lands and Resources Department. We call the water treatment plant for you. And we say, hey, we're coming to the school, we're doing this kind of programming. We think your perspective and your knowledge would be really beneficial on through the week. Are you available Tuesday or Thursday to come talk to the kids? And so we start those conversations. And if we are invited back, as we come back, those relationships become stronger and easier to coordinate. So we can say, hey, Julie, we're back in your community. Can you come Tuesday and talk to the kids again? And so it becomes a bit more fluid and those relationships build within the school, within the teachers, within the community. And the students start to recognize, Uncle Joe, I didn't know you worked at the Lands and Resources Department. What? Tell me about your job, right? And like you usually see them, walking to the convenience store to get their pepperette sticks or their Pepsi, but you don't know what they're doing with the rest of their day. So those kinds of relationships start to build, and it's really cool to see those connections form. Hopefully that gives you a good picture. There's definitely a lot of different little pieces, a lot of little pieces to sort out. Open communication, lots of emails, meetings, telephone calls to kind of sort out what that looks like.
And I think I'm just gonna ask you to schedule my life because I think you know how to do it really well, and I'm so no, I appreciate that. What I got like is like it's I love how it's customized, right? You're not just like doing a one size fits all. So I appreciate that. And yeah, like open the door and then grow from there. So nope,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Um, did anyone else have any questions that they just watching the time? We've got a few minutes left before we'll wrap up the call, but any other questions from folks?
I don't have a question. I just want to express my gratitude again, Adriana, and I would love to reach out about being able to amplify the work you're doing. It's amazing. We have a big national outdoor learning conference in Banff every spring. It's just coming up next week, but maybe for next year, if you were interested in being an exhibitor there, or there was ways to get your staff members there to share, right, with all share what you're doing, and if there's ways I can help share or potential for collaboration, I'll send you an email because I'd love to let educators know about these amazing opportunities that you have, and spread the good word. Spread the word about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate that. We actually are exhibiting this year.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, so my team members Sarah and Rachel will be there.
Okay,
So you'll maybe get a
perfect.
chance to meet Sarah and Rachel. And we had a different team member, our learning resources manager, Tanya, was at your October conference
Oh,
for
amazing.
leadership.
For leadership,
Conf.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
So
I wasn't
yeah,
at the fall one. I'm not
yeah,
directly involved in the organizing of the May one, or otherwise I would know that. Of course, I was just
sure,
like,
yeah,
oh, I'll make sure that they know. So that's wonderful
yeah.
news. I'll look forward to meeting them then in
Yeah,
person.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that you're kind of resonating with the program that we
Oh, for
offer
sure.
and those
Yeah.
connections. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, I'll reach out in case there's any other potential, ways to
Excellent.
amplify it. And I really appreciate you taking the time today, and a great meeting everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julie. Just one other thought that I had, Shay, about your question on the logistics, is inviting different people from the community. We really do make space for those individuals. So some of our richest programs are when we have an elder that's willing to do a water walk or to hold ceremony for the students, even if it's small. So we really lean into those opportunities. And we have certain lessons that we just kind of cut from the week if we have that investment from our community partners as well. So fluid, flexible. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, flexible, fluid. I mean, I like that. Those are all qualities that are great to have in this space, right? Like, no one likes a boxed in schedule, anyways, right? So, or boxed in living. So, no, I appreciate that. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. Just lots of appreciation for everything you shared today, Adriana. So, again, thank you for this. A couple little closing notes. One being that. Adriana, like, so we normally offer our presenters a little bit of an honorarium to show our gratitude for their time. Adriana has decided to share that back to the YOLO community. And so keep an eye out for the newsletter because we're going to have a contest to win a water testing kit, Water Rangers water testing kit for people in the membership. So keep an eye out for that. And share it wide, and we'll hopefully get someone out there testing water. They're great little kit. I was using them yesterday with a bunch of grade 8 students, and they're great kits. And then also, maybe you like just in case, like Adriana, if you can share your information that last slide, and I can share it out in our next newsletter, or Willie can help share that out in our next newsletter. Um, and then, of course, keep an eye out in that newsletter for our next month's presenters. We'll have another opportunity like this in the virtual learning circle, where it's a more formal environment with a presenter, but we'll also have our fireside chat, which is more informal conversation about just topics that are coming up in the world of land-based and place-based and outdoor learning. So keep an eye out for those being advertised. And I'll also be at Take Me Outside. We'll be at Take Me Outside as an exhibitor. So if anyone's there, come and check us out. We'll have some goodies and lots of informations and stories to share. And yeah, just excited to be in that space. So again, super appreciative that everyone came out today. And we will, until next time, enjoy the rest of your week and hopefully get some great time on the land at some point. Okay. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Go outside right now.
Yeah.
Bye.
If you see the northern lights in my background, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
must
take
see you
care.
guys. Take
See you,
care.
Wilbert.
Bye, Wilbert.